Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another installment of TEDXcellence, the show where I uncover secrets every day. Did you know that? Actually, no, that's not a secret anymore. Thanks, Christopher Nolan. Anyway, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Thursday, temperate Thursday. It was actually really nice out today. It was like sunny, and it was a comfortable temperature outside. And I feel like I'm spoiled right now because it's been like winter hellhole for like the last several months. But now it's comfortable. But then, just before I hit the start stream button, the lights in my apartment flickered a little bit. So if I suddenly disappear at some point, that'll be interesting. Just as a warning of hopefully things that will not happen. But yes, that kind of threw me off my game there for a minute as I started my little intro thing. So there you go. Already it is a bizarre stream. It's a bizarre stream because this TEDx talk, as of this recording, unless something's changed drastically in the last 15 minutes or something, as of this recording, this TEDx talk is currently hidden from ease of viewing on YouTube. It exists on YouTube, but only if you have the link to it, because otherwise it's unlisted. Comments aren't turned off, but you can't find it through normal channels just on YouTube. You have to have the link. Why? I don't know. But I do want to thank Jamie Melquist for alerting me to the existence of this TEDx talk, because otherwise I wouldn't know what had happened, because again, you can't see it on YouTube. But we're going to talk about that momentarily. Before then, who's joining me on this beautiful Thursday evening? Walter Tomaszewski. Good evening. Ghost of Freddie Mercury's immune system. Good evening. The Alexander. Hello. Snubbirth. Hello. Kiever Dam. Good evening. And thank you, Kiever Dam, as always, for providing the link at the top of the chat box, guys, to the global giving charity for the LA wildfire victims. Please take a look at that when you have the opportunity. If you're able to donate, please do so. And even if you can't, if you can share that out on social media, that would be appreciated. And so thank you for that ahead of time. And thank you, Kiever Dam, for providing the link. Advocast Diabli, good evening. Derek LaRue, good evening. And also, Derek LaRue, thank you. Thank you so much, Derek, as always, for your continued generosity and support. Really appreciate it. Hope you're having a good evening and hope you enjoy the show. Shady Grin, good evening. Who else is here? Scrolling. Rotten Corpse, good evening. Toot Sweet, hello. Tack Alpaca, good evening. Chicago Mike, good evening. Alice Morgan, hello. Who else is here? Judge Ugly, good evening. Mike R, good evening. John Trioxon, hello. Random American, hello. Your internet's favorite lunatic, hello. Brian Morissette, hello. Angelverse, good evening. Robert Pincus, hello. Simon Willikins, hello. SWD40, hello. And there's Jamie Melquist. Good evening, Jamie. Thank you again for the tip on this one. Morgan King, good evening. Tyr Alexander the Scourge, good evening. And I think that's everybody I see. If I missed you, if you're lurking, if you're in the future, hello. All right. So yes, tonight we have a special presentation of a secret, super secret, classified TEDx. I believe it took place at the same event as the talk that I covered last week, if I'm not, or at least the first of the two talks I covered last week. But this is Tess Holliday. Now, who is Tess Holliday, you might ask? Well, some of you probably already know the name, but just for edification's sake, Tess Holliday is a super plus-size model, body positivity advocate, someone who reveled, and I assume, I guess maybe we'll find out here, I don't know, in her corpulence, made a career out of being morbidly obese and celebrated this and pushed the idea that this is a healthy at any size kind of thing. It's pretty disturbing in my mind. It's sort of like saying, hey, look at me, I'm a horrible alcoholic and that's a great way to live. Or look at me, I've smoked myself into lung cancer. It's a great way to live. I don't know. But anyway, so Tess Holliday did a TEDx. How to reclaim your self-worth. Well, it is an individual journey because the operative term in self-worth is self. Other than the title, I have absolutely no idea what she's going to talk about or how she's going to present it. I have no idea why this talk of all talks was unlisted. Just to put it out there and not have it be seen, no idea. The last time, I think I'm not even sure that Coleman Hughes's talk, which was basically reviled by the people at TEDx and TED, I don't even think his talk was unlisted. I just don't think they did any marketing for it. So why Tess Holliday in particular is unlisted, I don't know. But again, you can check the link. The secret link is in the description below. So if in the future of this talk, this broadcast, the talk goes live or public, then so be it. But right now, at least, it's super secret. Zan, good evening. Zan Wild, good evening. Anybody else I missed in the meantime? I don't think so. I hope not. Either way, but let's get going. So tonight's bingo card is bingo card A. The winner of the bingo card poll on Twitter was Memorial Day for favorite holiday. And so bingo card A, links to the bingo cards are in the description below. Get your bingo card A's ready. And with that, this one runs exactly 11 minutes. I've cut off the opening little musical number and the closing little musical number for the sake of brevity and also to avoid any possible copyright type deals. And so we'll get right into it. I'll start off with a few seconds for a sound test. You guys tell me if you can hear it, and then we will proceed.
Growing up in small town Mississippi, I was a little girl with big dreams, a love for sparkle, and an imagination that took me far beyond my small hometown.
Little girl with big dreams. Yeah. I am going to say something here. I think it's going to be unavoidable commentary on her health choices, lifestyle choices, and so on. And I only feel relatively comfortable in doing so when it becomes relevant, I'll say, because she made a career off of being fat. She made a career off of celebrating being morbidly obese. And yeah, so in this instance, her entire identity and celebrity is based around that. No pun intended, but I'll take it. So I'm not a big fan of Tess Holliday in that regard, encouraging women and conceivably men by extension to do terrible things to themselves and their health and their long-term viability and say it's a good thing. So I know it might sound politically incorrect or something, but yeah. All right. Anyway, everybody can hear that okay? Unfortunately, I can hear it's the Chicago mic. I understand. Dexter's Killer Lab correctly cites that as a childhood or family anecdote. That's true. Circling childhood or family anecdote on the board. Let's remind ourselves what we are listening for as we go through this talk. Remember, this is bingo card A. Links are in the description. Collectivizes own demographic. We'll see. Systemic or institutional. Possibly. Sales pitch for product or service. Well, we'll see how that goes. A childhood or family anecdote we have circled. Diversity, equity, and or inclusion. Well, inclusion was a word on the opening title card for this talk, but I want to hear her say it, or at least allude to the concept within the presentation itself. Plays victim. I got a feeling we'll get there. Microaggressions or unconscious bias. We'll probably get there too. Privilege. Maybe she'll bring up thin privilege. Who knows? Contradicts own point or fails to make argument. Patriarchy, deceptive statistics, economic disparity, feminism, possibly. Marginalized or marginalization, possibly. A list. We'll see if she uses a list in here. White supremacy. I'd be surprised, but you never know. Word salad, self-vilification or wretchedness. It's possible. Weightless example or non sequitur. Let me just get this one out of the way for a second. I don't know that we'll find any weightless example. Anyway, attempt to coin new buzzword or buzz phrase, mind reading or assumes motives, benevolent condescension, anecdote that probably never happened, and leaves out vital context. So far on the board, bingo card A, we have childhood or family anecdote and free space circled. Let's move on.
Even as a child, I was told that my body was wrong, that I took up too much space, that I didn't fit the mold.
And so you just decided to run with that figuratively?
Beauty, as I saw it around me, was something defined that I would never see in the mirror. And so began a lesson society teaches many of us, that in order to fit in, we must shrink ourselves.
No. I'm going to circle systemic or institutional. I should probably add society to that, like society is the cause or something. But effectively, yeah, society is telling her that she must shrink herself. No, health science says that for a longer lifespan and healthier lifestyle, being morbidly obese is bad. Thank you, Snubberth. What's funny is past Lords of the Night streams would probably fill that bingo card 3 times over. Yeah, probably. How many things did we cover, both in stories we read or just subjects that we covered? That's true. If we a bingo card for a Lords of the Night stream, oh man, we could probably come up with something from the olden days. Like, how many times does Scribe get interrupted by one of his co-hosts? That'd be a square that would be filled in within the first 2 seconds of any stream. I'm still bitter. Thank you, Snubberth.
Picture this.
Okay.
6th grade. I'm signing up for my first beauty pageant. I was so excited, but truthfully, I had no idea what I was up against.
I'm going to circle plays victim because, both society and she has to shrink herself. Like, oh my gosh. It's not shrinking yourself. It's maintaining a healthy body weight, or at least doing your best to do so. Again, this isn't something that befell her. You can see her actively flaunting and eating entire cakes and things in old promotional videos of hers. So I was under the impression, at least relatively recently, that she'd started on some kind of weight loss journey, because maybe finally a doctor got through to her that your lifespan, your ability to be a mother and everything else is going to be cut pretty short if you don't change your habits. But maybe I'm just sort of misremembering positively. Thank you, Adabisi. Nice to see you. Howdy, Scribe. What have you brung us? I have brung you quite a lot. A whole lot of woman. That's what I brought you. Thank you, Adabisi. Appreciate it.
I looked around at my other classmates, and in their eyes, I saw it. I was the fat girl, the one they dared not to stand too close to. Being friends with me was a gamble. As they shared their interests, the other contestants said, gymnastics, Tweety Bird. Sorry, you guys, I'm so nervous.
Maybe this is why they hit it. And again, just for clarification, no shade on her. Standing in front of an audience, giving a presentation, I would probably be all over the place. So I'm not going to either, in quippery or otherwise ding her for that.
But I'm so grateful. Thank you. So we're going to rewind it back because I don't want to forget this part. Unable to find a dress within my size and budget, my grandmother hired someone from church to give me my Cinderella moment. The other contestants shared their interests: cheerleading, gymnastics, and then there was me. I like hanging out with my family, swimming, and collecting Tweety Bird.
Okay. For those of you listening at home, we've pulled back now. We see the big screen that she's on, and also there's a subtitle to her name card here. It says Beauty 2.0, How to Claim Your Self-Worth. Okay. I'd like to try. I might fail at it, but I'd like to try to make a distinction here. All right. Beauty and health can be 2 separate things, because beauty is in, as they say, the eye of the beholder. But healthy lifestyle and healthy choices for yourself, not necessarily is a beautiful thing. Or I should say unhealthy choices for yourself, not necessarily make you a beautiful thing. Someone might find beauty in you, or might find you beautiful just as you are, and that's perfectly fine. But we're talking about 2 different concepts here. What is your self-worth? Well, I don't know. Are you worth a long and healthy life? Or at least as long and healthy a life that you can imagine for yourself? Or just packing on the pounds as some sort of act of defiance against society's expectations? It's sort of like, golly gee whiz, society hates it when you mutilate yourself, so I'm going to show them, or something. Maybe I just lack the words. Thank you, Poker. Hope all is well, Scribe and Chat. I hope all is well for you too. I'm doing pretty good. It was a nice, comfortable day. Very busy day as we're at month end time, and that becomes all billing and rush and all types of other crazy things I got to get done, spreadsheets wise and math. I'm an English major, dang it. But elsewise, if that's my only complaint, I'm probably doing okay. Thank you, Poker. Appreciate it.
Silence.
Sorry, let me back up a little bit because I don't want to lose context.
I like hanging out with my family, swimming, and collecting Tweety Bird.
Mm-hmm.
Silence. The crowd, the judges, no one knew what to do with me.
Sure.
I didn't place.
Uh-huh.
That night, I learned a powerful lesson that I had to spend years unlearning.
Okay.
That I couldn't trust the voice in my head, that I didn't belong, and that society wasn't ready to see me, let alone celebrate me.
You are not the center of the universe. And I know that there's an easy joke I could make after saying that. I'm not going to do it because, I can be a gentleman. You have to handle you. It's not up to anybody else to celebrate you. That's a little bit of narcissism there. All right. Be comfortable with yourself. Celebrate yourself. Don't expect other people to celebrate. They're not going to celebrate me. Most people don't get celebrated. Quote unquote, normal weighted people often don't get celebrated just because they showed up.
But here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That little girl that stood on that stage,
yes,
is the reason I'm standing on this stage today.
Well, yes, because that was you. And is that a statement of bravery or something? I'm almost ready to circle word salad or something for that one.
Because belonging isn't something society decides for us. We can fight to decide that for ourselves.
Belonging. I guess, if you join a club or a group or you hang out with your family, what do you mean? I dare not assume anything at this point because I don't know where we're going with this.
It took a long time, but as I grew up, I stopped asking why I couldn't fit into spaces I was told I didn't belong.
I can tell you why. Volume.
Instead, I created my own space, my own path, and my own movement.
Yeah, I guess you did. And how's that working out?
10 years ago, I founded F Your Beauty Standards.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it was. I was trying to remember. She started some kind of organization or company or something. I can't remember what it was. It's been so long. Some more hellos here. Detrix. Detrix are for kids. One of my favorite memories as a kid is going to the fair with my friends. It's hard to enjoy a fair when you have a fat friend who can't fit on a ride, then guilt trip you with a corn dog in hand. Oh, yeah. Let's see who else is here. Mr. X51, good evening. Big Kyle, the driving 8-man. Hello, up there in Canada. Duck Dog, good evening. Plaid Namo, good evening. Let's see. Bill S. Preston Esquire, excellent. Good evening. Assassin of the Gray, good evening. Miranda Stone's here. Be long, be short. All right, well, that's cryptic. Well, not cryptic himself, but also, you guys know about Miranda Stone.
And it became a global call for change.
Change of what? Okay, F your beauty standards. Change of what? What did you want to change?
That was more than a hashtag.
Oh.
It was a movement for anyone who had ever felt invisible.
You were definitely not invisible.
I wasn't just shouting into the void anymore about self-acceptance. I had created a space where people like me could hear thousands of voices that relate to them and support them.
Okay, but here's the thing. In most cases, quote unquote, people like you, it's not an immutable element of your makeup. You know, we're not talking about like veterans of foreign wars or something, or I don't know, ERGs. I don't want to extend a whole lot of credit to ERGs, but even ERGs, generally speaking, relate to something that is effectively permanent about your makeup. Your situation is not permanent. You could lose weight. It takes willpower. And depending on the severity of your situation, it might take surgery. But you could do it. You're choosing not to. And you're encouraging people not to do the healthy thing for themselves. That's 10 years worth of doing more damage than good, in my opinion.
People began reclaiming their right to be seen and heard, sharing images of their bodies, their beauty, and their power. Every post, every story was a testament that beauty isn't limited to a single standard.
Okay, well, let's say you had somebody who was a horrible meth addict, and you said, beauty at any number of teeth. Let's celebrate this person and their commitment to defying societal standards. Would you call that a positive kind of movement? Would you call that something you'd want to cheer on and celebrate? Okay, shorter lifespans, heart disease, mobility, a whole raft of different things, like just the ability to move through the world and participate in things. This is what you're encouraging people to effectively deny themselves by celebrating something that doesn't have to be. And I know, people say, oh, well, there's conditions where people can't control their weight. I get that. But generally speaking, that's in the minority. And I'm not talking about people who have no choice. That's an immutable aspect. Okay, so be it. Most people, not so much.
You see my journey from a small town girl, imagining big dreams in a world that she was always told she was too much, to standing here today. It has taught me that change begins from within.
You're the beneficiary of a progressive movement that basically told people to do bad things to themselves and we will pay you for it. You were celebrated for the wrong thing. You just happened to show up at the right time to profit off of it. I don't know. I don't want to call Tess Holliday a hero. I do not think she's a hero. I think she has been, in a lot of ways, taken advantage of and bought into her, and she has bought into her own press. I don't necessarily call her a victim either, but still.
If I had let their opinions dictate my worth, I wouldn't be here today. My confidence has brought me to places I never dreamt of, from billboards to boardrooms. Today, I am working with brands like Pinterest to help make their platforms safer and more inclusive by using AI technology.
What? Wait. Okay, circling diversity, equity, and inclusion, because inclusive showed up in the talk. Sure, why not? How? Using AI to make their platform safer and more inclusive. If you say so. Also, I'm going to circle collectivize his own demographic, because even though she hasn't said it so far, she's talking about the overweight, the obese as a demographic. Circling that one. Let's see. Circling privilege, because she has effectively alluded to the fact that she has been denied societal privilege on the basis of her weight. So that's looks good so far. So let's keep going.
I helped H&M create campaigns that showcase Real body diversity.
Real body diversity. Right, because the size extra, extra large or plus size didn't exist until you showed up, I guess.
I've even stood before the United Nations to talk about why representation is essential.
Oh, representation is essential. That's great. Didn't they give like Anita Sarkeesian and Zoe Quinn a seat at the United Nations or something at one point? The bar there seems to be fairly low in some instances.
And how body and mental health issues aren't just about beauty, but a true global health concern.
Yeah, let's talk about the mental health aspect of it, like looking in the mirror and saying, I'm going to go eat that cake because that makes me beautiful.
But for me, it was never about just being in the room. It was about making sure that others got there as well.
Others based on?
Because my fight isn't just about body.
It isn't, because that's all you've offered up so far.
It isn't even just about me.
Are you sure about that? Because there's a lot of me, my, I in this.
It's about a brave, fierce belief that our voices matter.
Well, if you have something useful to say, sure. What would you like to talk about?
They say a rising tide lifts all boats, and when we fight for ourselves, we also fight for each other.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I hope to have some clarity. Thank you, Duck Dog. Fat Acceptance AI. Talk about bloatware. Oh. Nice. Also, I almost reflexively said something when she started talking about rising tides, but your imagination will do the work for me.
And everyone wins.
Everyone wins? Okay. Yeah, well, you are a DEI advocate, apparently, because equality of outcome. Everyone wins. If everyone wins, then winning doesn't mean anything.
Like recently, I was sitting in a boardroom of a major global brand.
Would you like to tell us which one?
The place where big decisions are made.
Yeah.
I was there because they wanted to discuss with me how they could make the brand more inclusive.
Let out the hem by a few inches.
But as I looked around the room, there was one person remotely close to my size.
Oh no. I looked around the room and there was only one person that kind of looked like me in a completely superficial and non-determinative way. We need fat equity. We need fat representation in boardrooms, guys. Yeah, no, I really, you must be at least this heavy to get this promotion. Is that where we're going with this?
Diversity can't just be a checked box.
But it is. It is. That's all it is. It's tokenism. You just said it yourself. I looked around the room and I only saw one person who was near my size. You didn't talk about that person's personality. You didn't talk about that person's name. You didn't talk about that person's skill set, experience, or why they were in the room in the first place. You only talked about the very surface level aesthetic quality of that person. And that somehow it was some great disservice and injustice that there weren't more people that casually resembled your carriage in that room. Circling contradicts own point or fails to make argument, circling that one. Also, benevolent condescension, circling that one. Ron Harushin, thank you so much for the how's it going, Dogcat Fox. Oh, Dogcat Fox.
Wow, wow.
there's a drunken uncle, Dog Cat Fox. Or I could have done this one.
Wowie, wow, wow.
There's a Roan Harushan, Dog Cat Fox. Seems appropriate. Thank you, Roan Harushan. Appreciate it. Also, Keeverdam, thank you so much. Plays Victim. Yes, Plays Victim is already circled. Thank you, Keeverdam. Already on the board. Gotcha. So circled that one. Appreciate it very much. Hope you're having a good evening, Keeverdam. Are you toiling away at the work time stuffs? Diversity can't be about checking a box.
Diversity can't just be a checked box.
Uh-huh.
It has to be built into our foundations.
You know, I honestly did not know this was going to turn into a DEI presentation. Otherwise, I might have saved it for DEI Death Watch. By the way, I hope to have an episode of that out tomorrow morning.
Real change happens not just when we're in the room, but when we are valued, heard, and involved in the decision making.
But you just said you needed more people in the room that looked like you. So how could you know that change has occurred unless you're in the room to show that change has occurred?
Representation matters.
No, it doesn't. Not unless you're a narcissist.
And it changed the trajectory of my life.
Oh, I know it did. I know it did. The representation movement changed the trajectory of your life. You became valued for what? What did all of those magazine covers showcase? The world's first 22 size fashion model or supermodel. You were valued for your weight. That's it. You would be not any more special, save for your weight, in the eyes of the people that promoted you. You know, here's the thing. I am sure that in all other aspects, well, I mean, I can't be sure, but I will, for the benefit of extending the benefit of the doubt, I'm sure Tess Holliday is a very nice person. I'm sure that at her core, she's a decent human being. She's not going around beating people up or anything else. There's probably a lot of aspects to her personality, interests, knowledge, and everything else that should be highly valued in and of themselves. But that's not why the media, the press, the fashion industry valued her. They valued her because she was fat. That's it. If she'd just been a normal-sized person, she could probably still have made a career as a model or something. Maybe not as successful because the people who value the worst possible aspects to encourage in people's personal habits decided to pay her a lot of money for it. Give her notoriety for it. Encourage her to maintain a ridiculously unhealthy weight. And she embraced it because I guess she thought she had nothing else to offer, which is kind of a sad statement. So maybe we're going to get to the part where you talk about your self-worth or reclaiming it at some point. Thank you, Dylan Farnham. When you pause, I imagine she's catching her breath. Well, you don't have to imagine by my pausing. And this is not some sort of like snide comment or something. Just listen to her as she speaks and when she pauses. She can hardly maintain a sentence or a paragraph standing on a stage without having to catch her breath. That's not an accident. That's a symptom. Frosted Glass, thank you so much. Luke brings her to Hoth in case he has to keep warm. Oh. Tauntaun. The poor Tauntaun. That poor animal is just doing his job. You know? Just doing his job. And then Han had to force it out into the cold just to find Luke. Dina B. Good evening. All right, let's keep going.
And it can change all of our lives.
Oh, sorry. What can change all of our lives? Representation, was it, I think?
And involved in the decision making.
Uh-huh.
Representation matters. Mm-hmm. And it changed the trajectory of my life. Mm-hmm. And it can change all of our lives.
It could.
And it's a funny thing.
Yeah. I mean, representation has changed my life. If it hadn't become such a cultish atmosphere, I probably might not have a YouTube channel. Assassin the Gray. Thank you so much. It's very generous of you. Is it toxic masculinity or slavery to gender norms that I get queasy when fat models let it all hang out, or my brain's hardwiring for a healthy mate and offspring? Inquiring minds want to know. To each their own. I can't fault anybody who finds whoever they find attractive, as long as they are of consenting age. That's the only sort of like line I'll draw. But other than that, you want to talk. What was it? I remember I think we either read it on Lords of the Night or something, where one of the most popular search terms on like those adult websites has to do with like overweight or BBW or whatever else. So, again, I'm not going to shame anybody for their interests and such, but ultimately that doesn't change the fact that that kind of weight is inherently unhealthy. It's unsafe for your long-term, way of life, and to encourage it. I mean, if somebody is that way, if somebody chooses to, or by dint of circumstance or something ends up in that position, that sucks. But if somebody's celebrating it, that's the part that I could not get over. It's the press, the media, the fashion industry celebrating it, encouraging it, healthy at any size. That mantra. Just, Keeverdam, thank you. Wow, Keeverdam, thank you so much. That's very generous. Thank you. I can relate to her, thick-bodied and thick-headed. Again, and I'm not, this is the line you walk when you talk about subjects like this. I'm not attempting to, make somebody feel bad about themselves or anything else, but it's just a matter of fact that if you can maintain a healthy body weight, you should. As far as I understand it, Tess Holliday is not afflicted with some kind of disease that makes her be that large. She might be healthfully wise. She might be past some point of no return. I don't know all of her history, but it wasn't that long ago that I recall seeing articles about her going on a weight loss journey. I guess maybe that reversed, or this talk was somehow performed before then. But anyway, I know it's a touchy subject, but all the same.
When people ask me, how did you become successful? How did your life change in the way that it did?
The progressive movement and body positivity and Tumblr and people on thin privilege highs and all that kind of thing. Duck Dog, thank you so much. It could be a new Ralph Nader book, Unsafe at Plus Size. Oh. Unsafe at any speed. Thank you, Duck Dog. See, I'm old enough to have that reference in my head too.
I nearly always say delusion.
What? Wait, what? Say that again.
And it's a funny thing. When people ask me, how did you become successful? How did your life change in the way that it did? I nearly always say delusion. And people laugh, like some of you.
I didn't laugh. I'm wondering if this is some deprecation, self-reflection, personal insight, or if it's going to be I deluded myself into thinking I could be successful at any size or something.
I know you're laughing, because it was funny, right?
Somebody can check me. When she said that, I don't believe I laughed, but go ahead.
But really, some people do think I'm a bit delusional to feel like I belong.
It's not a matter of belonging, lady. It's like, look, I know that there are people that love you, right? And they love you regardless of your weight. But most people that are, let's say, taken aback, usually are out of sort of concern. Like I look at Tess Holliday and my first thought is that is someone who, without some drastic changes to her habits and her lifestyle, is going to have a very, very difficult growing up process into her elderly years. Okay. Health problems, medical bills, mobility, opportunities to interact with the world, on and on and on and on and on. I don't hate Tess Holliday because of her weight. I'm not a fan of her message. But more than anything else, when I see someone like of Tess Holliday's heft, you know who I think about? I know this sounds weird. But I'm going to say it anyway. You know, I think about John Candy. Okay, John Candy, comedian I grew up with. I mean, not directly, but you know what I mean. And he died of a heart attack. I think either on the set of the movie he was filming at the time, Wagons East or whatever, or Roundabouts, or filming something. And he died from being overweight and not taking care of himself. And that made me really sad. I think John Candy might be one of the first celebrity deaths, and we just had one yesterday, or we found out about Gene Hackman. But I think John Candy might have been one of the first celebrity deaths that really hit me hard, because he was Uncle Buck. He was in all the funny movies, right? He was on SCTV. And when I found out he died, I remember being really, really sad as a kid. And when I found out that it was a result of hard living and his overweight and his heart gave out and, and everything else, I just thought, well, that's really sad. And so whenever I see people who are, when I can sort of envision a kind of John Candy aesthetic about them, same thing happened with Chris Farley. I saw Chris Farley, big funny man. And I just thought, I really hope he doesn't go the way of John. Yeah, but he did. I have a sort of reflexive sense of concern for that person's long-term health. And again, if it's a situation they can't help, if they've got some kind of condition or something else, that sucks too. When it's somebody that could do something about it, but is choosing not to for some reason, and most especially someone who encourages others not to do something more healthy for themselves. Yeah, I'm not a fan. But I believe I am sincere in saying that it's more a sense of reflexive concern than anything else. But anyway, let me back up a little bit.
But really, some people do think I'm a bit delusional to feel like I belong. But that so-called delusion is what saved me. It's what gave me the audacity to believe I could change things.
How do you think you're changing things for the better? The first person I think of when I think of like changing things for the better when it comes to dealing with weight is Richard Simmons. Right? Richard Simmons took in everybody. You want to talk about belonging? You want to talk about inclusion? Richard Simmons accepted everybody at every size and encouraged them to live a healthier, better life. He was one of those guys that, for all the mystery and intrigue of his final years and all, as far as I know, he's one of those guys that just nobody could say a bad thing about him. He's an absolutely just positive person, and he encouraged people to take care of themselves. And he seemed to understand that it's not easy for everybody, but that you have to stick to it and you'll be better off. That's somebody that I could see as saying, somebody who worked to change people's lives when it came to weight and body image and such. Tess Holliday. Derek LaRue, thank you again. Card check. Show me what you got so far. Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Let me go awkwardly here. Present, share this and that. And oops, I got to do this. Hold on, that, and save here, and then refresh that. So that's what I have so far. So for those of you listening at home, I've got collectivizes his own demographic, systemic institutional, childhood or family anecdote, diversity, equity, and inclusion, plays victim, privilege, contradicts own point or argument, free space, and benevolent condescension. I'm sure there's probably some more in there that I could circle at this point, but I'm trying to meter myself a little bit. So, and if you have arguments for squares to be circled after this, by all means, hold on to them. I will get to them presently. This isn't a very long talk. We're almost about over halfway through of it so far. So we'll get there presently. All right, let me get myself straightened out again, and here we go.
RuPaul once said, "What other people think of me is none of my business." Those words became my armor. On reality TV, they say, I didn't come here to make friends. Well, I didn't come here to make anyone comfortable.
Someone whose opinion I would take to heart, my doctor. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things in life where I probably would say like, that's just your opinion or anything else. But if my physician's looking at me and saying, you need to change this or else, XYZ PDQ, your heart's going to give out, your knees are going to give out, your blood pressure is going to stroke you out. Diabetes. Those are opinions. At least I probably give a bit more weight to. No pun intended, but I'll take it.
I am here because I fought for my right to exist.
You fought for your right to exist. Okay. Who was trying to not make you exist anymore?
And be seen.
Oh, you're seen, all right. I'll grant you that. You succeeded in that. You're all over magazine covers, this, that, and the other. So, if congratulations, yeah.
My body is an act of resistance.
Oh, geez, yeah, tensile resistance. Okay. Let's see. Sales pitch for product or service. Her body is an act of resistance. Here's all my magazine covers. Here AI for Pinterest, etc. Circling that one. Marginalization. Yes, she was and feels like she still is being marginalized and so on. And people like her within her own weight class. Let's see. What else do we have? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I'll leave it there for a moment. I'm sure I got leave some room for you guys to have some arguments too.
A reminder that I don't need society's permission to take up space.
I don't know. I mean, there could be certain instances where that's not true.
Neither do you.
Oh, okay.
You build your dreams on your own delusional terms.
Sure. Fake it till you make it. Shake and bake it.
I had to believe in a world where I belonged and hold on to that vision until it became real. And there were so many moments that it did not feel real. Not when I was going to high school in an abandoned Walmart in Laurel, Mississippi. Not when I was going on model castings and they were telling me that I was too short and too fat as they laughed at me.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes, not even now. Because loving yourself is the goal, but it's not perfect.
Yeah, but see, yourself is not... Okay. First off, I always get a little queasy thinking about loving myself, not only for the, innuendo implications, but also because it sounds so, narcissistic. I am comfortable with the person that I am, and I'm hopeful for the person that I'll become. But I exercise every day. I've made that a new habit. Every single day now, I exercise. Why? Well, because, I get one body, and I've seen what's happened to people in my life and peripherally that either through, happenstance or bad choices, their bodies did not maintain themselves, or they weren't maintained very well. That's also why I currently have braces at 46, because I'd like to have some, decent dental health and dental hygiene into my elderly years. Why? Well, because I, can't help but look at my father's teeth from time to time. And even though they don't seem to be bothering him too much, he's got, his mouth is a silver mine for all the fillings that he's had. I have so far, knock wood, cross fingers, haven't had to have any fillings because I brush my teeth every day. I take care of my teeth. These little things. And it's not that somehow I don't love myself. Like does she really think that if she put in the effort and the concentration, the willpower to lose weight, that would be a declaration of self-hatred? Is that because this is the topsy-turvy mental gymnastics kind of logic that I can only derive from what she's saying. I don't buy it. And I really don't want to encourage it.
Sometimes it's tolerating yourself. Sometimes when the voices around you are too loud, and trust me, you can look at my comments and DMs. There are plenty of them.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. But then you like that. That fuels you. Your existence is an act of resistance.
The goal is continuing to stand up.
Which I'm sure is a regular goal that you have and will continue to have going forward.
So here I am.
Rock me like a hurricane.
Not because I fit society's definition of a supermodel. Far from it.
Are you sure? Because the magazine cover you showed earlier said the first 22 size supermodel.
But because I refuse to let anyone define me.
Are you sure about that? Well, then lose the weight. Now, actively go to the effort of losing the weight. If you're not, if no one else is going to define you, then you not having the weight will still mean that you're valuable, right? But the media and the fashion industry and everything else has defined you as a body positivity, ultra plus size model. Have you taken that to heart? Feels like you have.
My body is an act of defiance.
Resistance, defiance. I keep telling yourself that, I guess. Are you going to defy yourself into an early grave? That's my concern.
A declaration that I belong.
Yeah, okay.
If that little girl in Mississippi had seen someone like her on a magazine cover, maybe she wouldn't have felt so alone.
Okay, so that's a picture. For those of you listening at home, you can't see this. There's a picture of her on the screen now that I'm assuming is from when she was like a teenager or something, or at least a youngster, let's say. And I can't, she's wearing like a dress and everything. She doesn't look fat. I mean, I don't know what the standards were back in her hometown or whatever, but okay. What was preventing that girl from maintaining a healthy weight? I don't understand.
So let's build a world where every person feels seen, valued, and heard.
You're not going to, it's not going to happen. You have to value yourself. Wasn't this talk about self-worth? Why do I have to wait for the world to value me? Why? You just said you shouldn't care about what other people think. Well, then don't be concerned about the world valuing you. Value yourself. I'm circling contradicts own point or argument because, I already did that. Dang it. I already did that. Okay. Circling word salad then. I'm circling word salad on the board because this is just all over the place and she's already crossed over herself so many times. And strangely enough, as a result of that.
Won't somebody please?
Bingo. B-I-N-G-O.
Okay.
Right?
So our first bingo on the down the N column. And we got a couple minutes left.
Which is easy to say, right?
Sorry, what was easy to say? Pardon me.
So alone. So let's build a world where every person feels seen, valued, and heard. Which is easy to say, right?
It is easy to say. Is it even possible to do? And would you want to?
But how?
I do tell.
Well, it starts by challenging the voices in our own head.
The voices in my own head. Okay.
Not only how we see ourselves, but how we see the world around us.
Is this some kind of re-education process by any chance? Also, I almost missed it. Didn't miss it entirely. Over in the chat, let me scroll up. I see a Midnight's Edge. Hello, Midnight's Edge. Hello, Tom Connors. Hope you're doing well. Also, Found. Hello. Maiden Hell. Hello. Who else did I see? I see, said the blind man. All right. If I missed anybody, I apologize, but nice to see you.
So,
A needle pulling thread.
let's do this.
Let's do what?
Close your eyes.
And I'm going to get a big surprise. Okay, I'm closing my eyes. Go ahead.
Take a breath. And think about the time that you last judged someone for how they show up in the world.
Think about the last time I judged someone for how they show up in the world. I guess that'd be you. For encouraging people to live at an unhealthy weight. Yeah. Okay. That was easy.
About their clothes.
I mean, the bedazzled ribbons on your dress aren't exactly doing it for me, but I'm not any kind of fashion maven.
Their education.
Their education. Who's the last time I judged somebody for their education? I mean, I could judge somebody positively. I could judge somebody in the positive over their education, right?
Their appearance.
Their appearance. Well, I guess, yeah. I suppose here we are.
When was the last time that you judged someone for being too much?
Too much of what? I mean, I know what you're saying, but it could be anything.
Was it today?
Sure, it was today.
Was it yesterday?
Well, it was an easy game to play.
Was it this evening when you sat down to listen to my speech?
I suppose you got me.
Because if it was recently, and let's be honest, it was for many of us, then we still have work to do.
Why? Why? I'm not allowed to judge anybody. I'm not allowed to make an assessment of someone based on what I witness, what I hear, what I see. What are you talking about?
But it's wonderful work that will bring us closer together as a community.
What?
It's the work of reminding ourselves that we are all worthy.
No, not everybody is worthy. Tony Stark could not lift Thor's hammer. Is Ted Bundy worthy? Or that nutso over in Idaho who killed those college students. I mean, what are you talking about? Or the guy that cuts you off in traffic? What kind of utopia do you think you're going to build here? Okay.
We can all build a future where every body, every ability, and every individual can exist.
No one is stopping you from existing, lady. Who has stopped you from existing? Okay, your self-esteem and your self-worth have an operative term in there. Self. That's your responsibility. It's not my responsibility to make you feel seen or make you feel worthy. That's you. You get to do that. I got my own problems. You should take responsibility for yourself, not expect everybody else to cater to your ego all the time. Just because you say so, just because you showed up, just because you exist.
And no one, not strangers, online trolls, or an entire industry can take that away from us.
Okay.
Together, we can build a world where self-acceptance is the norm.
Self-acceptance. Okay, self-acceptance at the rejection of what? Personal health habits? Is your body yourself? There's a philosophical question for you. Are you the current state of your body? Or are you something that exists slightly askance of that? Is your body a consequence of you just being you? Or
where you don't have to apologize for being too much?
you keep trying to equate the abstract of too much, like maybe being boisterous, energetic. Maybe you've got a big personality with physical volume.
Where no one has to apologize.
Where no one has to apologize? What world is that? I bump into somebody and I don't have to excuse myself or say I'm sorry?
And you know what?
What?
In the end,
it doesn't really matter. Oh,
I like being too much.
Oh, geez.
Because it has given me an entire beautiful life.
Yeah, you get paid to be fat. I mean, I'd say nice work if you can get it, but, outside of sumo wrestlers, I'm not quite sure that it's something to celebrate. And even then, at least they're being athletic to a degree.
So take up space, own it all, and don't hold back. Trust me, the world will make room.
Oh, okay. Well, that was the super secret, hidden from public view Tess Holliday TEDx talk. Given, as far as I can tell, at the same event as the first of the double feature TEDx talks of last week. But, yeah. All right. Well, that being what it is, and it was something, let's move on to the bingo card. I'm going to go over it one more time by myself. Let me shrink it down here just a smidge for the sake of framing. There we go. And, yeah, let's put on a little mood music here. Let's lighten things up a little bit after all that doom, gloom, and self-loathing. All right. So let's see here. Microaggressions or unconscious bias. Yes, the unconscious bias of society, of other people, of the other girls at the beauty pageant and all that fun stuff, and on and on. Patriarchy. She never did bring up gender. She never did brought up like boys in her life or dating or anything, or men looking down on her or anything. Yeah, no. Deceptive statistics. She never brought up any statistics. Disparity. She did draw a contrast between her life growing up versus the at least demonstrable success of her modeling career since then. So being in a Walmart and so on, and now where she is at boardrooms and so on. So yeah, circle on that one. Feminism, again, she didn't focus on gender so much as body positivity. As far as I can tell, I'm happy to take arguments elsewise. A list. She did list off a whole bunch of accomplishments that she did despite her, physicality. I'm trying to come up with more words than just fatness. Was it a structured list though? I'm blanking right now. I will leave that to you guys. White supremacy. She never brought up race. Self-vilification or wretchedness. Now this is going to be I think this is going to be a contentious one. Throughout any of this, did she self-vilify? Plays victim? Yes. But did she ever become so self-deprecatory, if that's even a word? It is now because I'm an English major and I say so, that it goes over into self-vilification? I don't know. Weightless example or non sequitur? Aside from the loaded term of the square itself, she contradicted herself about 3 different ways from Sunday in there. Yeah, when was the last time you judged somebody? Actually, the title of this thing was kind of a non sequitur. When did we get to reclaiming your self-worth? When did she give us an instruction manual as to how to reclaim your self-worth? You never did. Like, how did she do it for herself? I don't get it. It's like, well, people paid me for being fat, therefore I'm validated, I guess. So circling that one. Attempt to coin new buzzword or buzz phrase. I didn't hear anything, but of course, last week I was taken to task on not having picked up on a buzzword buzz phrase, so I'm happy to leave that one for you guys. Mind reading or assumes motives. Yeah, how people are going to judge one another, or live in a world where we don't have to apologize, and where I'm allowed to exist, and on and on and on. Like there's some great oppressive force on her that's not her own sense of self-image and self-esteem. Anecdote that probably never happened. An anecdote that probably never happened. What did she give us? She was in a boardroom with only one other fat person, that she was made fun of when she was a kid. As far as I'm concerned, every kid at one point or other gets made fun of. I don't really count that as some grand depression. Or feeling outside, like you don't belong. That's just part of growing up. I don't know. Was there anything in there that sounded too good to be true? Let me know. Leaves out vital context. Well, I hate to double dip. Boy, oh boy, the puns are just coming down like rain tonight. But she never did address the title of her talk. How do you reclaim your self-worth? How did she do so? By just saying so? Maybe I'm just being dense. I could be. And there I did it again. Johnny Hellcat, thank you so much. Whale noises. I couldn't help it. I know. When she talked about rising tides lift all boats, it was there. But anyway, arguments for squares to be circled. Give them to me now in the chat. Give it to me, baby. And all the girlies say I'm pretty fly for a white guy. All right, so I will take your arguments now. Weightless example. Okay, if I need some backup. The other fat person in the boardroom, no real point to that. Yeah, no, that's true too. That is also true. That didn't really mean anything or lead anywhere or whatever. And also, speaking of contrary, when she said it's not just about checking a box right after saying that. Yeah. Let's see. Advocatus, I am not wearing my glasses, so white supremacy looks like weight supremacy. So check it off because she definitely hit that one. No. I'm sorry. Your lack of eyesight does not change. Your delusion does not become my reality. Circle emotional manipulation. It was attempted, was not successful with me, but I don't know. Frosted Glass, existing is resistance, buzz phrase. Existing is resistance, existing is defiance. I'll grant you that. That was a kind of mantra. Simply existing is the movement, so to speak. Advocatus, anecdote that never happened. No one is even close to that size, so there is no way someone even half her size within that room. Well, I think she said close to her size. Well, I guess close is relative. I don't know. I can believe it. I can believe that she was in a room where there wasn't anybody in there who was, say for one person, who might be even close to her size. K. Roberts, I didn't see it, therefore it happened. Circle everything. I reject your reality and replace it with my own. Found. Every beauty pageant I've ever been in, the audience clapped no matter what silly response the girl said, so the silence about her answers. Oh, so common Southern politeness would put the lie to that, huh? Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Even that famous clip of that beauty pageant girl who couldn't answer a question to save her life, I think even she got applause. So okay, I will agree. I'll grant that one. That's true. When I think of Southern hospitality and Southern manners and everything else where she came from, I think that's reasonable.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Right?
Yeah!
Did we get it? Oh, it's two bingos. I just realized, isn't it? No, wait. Did I miss a bingo? I've hit the bingo button once before. You know what? In case I completely blanked on doing the bingo before, I'm just going to do this.
Bingo.
What? Bingo! Yeah!
Of course.
All right. So we've officially had 3 bingos. I hope I didn't miss a bingo button push, but there we go. All right. Any other arguments for squares to be circled? Let's see. Duck Dog. Southern politeness is what I would consider to be a left-handed compliment. Well, you know, damning with faint praise, as they say. Kay Roberts, bless your heart. That's also true. That's also true. Derek LaRue, bingo. Yes, bingo. All right, Frosted Glass is going for it. Self-vilification. She called herself delusional, vilifying the mindset she once had. But did she, though? Was she vilifying herself, or was she sort of giving herself a pat on the back for believing the impossible dream? I don't know. I might need somebody else to either verify or argue in the counterpoint, because I didn't feel like that was a self-vilification. That didn't sound like a self-vilification. That sounded like a my existence is resistance kind of saying I was delusional. Advocast Diablo, deceptive statistics, she was wearing a girdle to hide how fat she really is. Then that was a poor girdle. I don't know. That dress really left very little to the imagination. Dina B, she thinks too highly of herself to self-vilify. Honestly, I don't know how highly she actually thinks of herself. I mean, you know, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I do own a couch, and I have a distinct feeling that Tess Holliday probably has and deals with a lot of self-image issues, regardless of her protestations to the contrary. I could be wrong. If she's completely comfortable with herself and has absolutely no issues whatsoever, more power to her, I guess. I just wish she didn't encourage other people to follow in her footsteps. Let's see. Sounds like self-vilify to me, crying so much. Again, I do want to extend her the benefit of the doubt that being up on stage, getting emotional, talking about herself and everything else, was she crying because she was so overwhelmed? Was she crying because she actually... Well, here's the thing. I have to default to this. Was self-vilification an element of her presentation? I don't want to be the same kind of person who tries to mind read too much or read too much in between the lines. Why she was crying, what caused her to, I don't know, nervousness, being on stage. We saw her fumble early on in the talk. Was deprecating herself, self-vilifying, a part of her argument, a part of her presentation? And does faking out the audience with the I'm delusional, does that count? Answer that one for me. Advocast, how drunk would you need to be to sleep with that? I would be unconscious before I could get there, I'd say. But that's just me. Again, I know people who find Tess Holliday ridiculously attractive. I'm not personally one of them. I can't fault them for their interest in their attractives or what they're attracted to. But that's just me. Let's see. Might have been fake crying. I don't know. The choking up part is not necessarily easy to simulate. So I'm willing to send her the benefit of the doubt that she was legitimately getting emotional, trying to figure out why. I don't know. Assassin the Gray, when they find her dead on the toilet at age 35, they will just blame climate change. Yeah, no, the heat went up and it just, she had a case of the vapors and just, yeah. I have seen her on some TikTok. She loves herself. You know, I guess. Can you love yourself to death? Wasn't that a typo negative song? Love you to death. Yeah. Any other arguments for squares to be circled? When they find her dead on toilet at age 40. Oh, how old is she now? I don't even know how old she is now. I thought she was in her 30s already. Zan Wild. I still have to go back and watch the ambush stream from earlier. Oh, man, my insomnia stream of, well, hey, I'm awake anyway and I got a couple hours to kill. Let's listen to some Supreme Court oral arguments on a case that might sideways affect DEI lawsuits going forward. That is a niche interest. I will not deny. Can't say it was the most exciting stream ever, but I felt, for myself at least, it was very informative. Let's see. Born in 85. Okay, so she's 6 years younger than I am. So she's 40. Yeah, all right. Or there's 40, 39, whatever, something like that. All right, well. Any other arguments, guys? Let's see. Patriarchy, no. Deceptive statistics, no. Feminism, no. A list. I think she listed off something, didn't she? She went over like accomplishments or something like that. I don't know. White supremacy, no. The self-vilification one. Yeah, that's so self-vilification and list are the only two left, and neither one will get a bingo. Actually, no. Self-vilification will get a bingo. That's why everybody's so on it. I just have a hard time seeing that delusional comment as a self-ding. I just don't see it. She turned it around into like again, like I said, dreaming the impossible dream. And let me know how to correctly pronounce your handle. Detrix, is it like Detrix, like, or is it DT Rix or something? Let me know. I think we missed the vilification because the way they do it with these body positivity arguments is I hated myself because others made me feel bad, and then I became a flower of light. Yeah, see, the theme of this talk was my existence is resistance. So for her to say anything that was self-deprecating, but then turn it around into, and because I was delusional, I am here today. That doesn't make it self-deprecating. That makes it I defied the beliefs that kept me down, right? Her delusion wasn't some kind of like, she didn't see how reality really was. Her delusion was not believing society's limitations placed upon her, which is not a declaration of I have a flaw. That is a heroic declaration. Okay, Frosted Glass, I'll give you one more chance. They talk about changing your mindset from the harmful anti-fat one, meaning she was once contributing to society's evils. Right. So by deciding to embrace her image, she was defying the her that used to submit to them. Oh, Frosted, me likey a lot. That's a good one. That's a good reverse. I like that. Oh, that passes the test as far as I'm concerned.
I had a dog, and his name was...
What?
I had a dog, and his name was...
Bingo!
Of course!
There you go. And another good point over here. Hold on. Where is it? I just saw it. Advocatus, didn't she list off things that would have to change for Beauty 2.0? She did say the first step you have to take is this, and the next step you have to take is that. That is also a list. Oh my gosh, guys. I think we've covered every conceivable square we can get on this board. Okay. Frosted wants to try for feminism. She said she doesn't fit the supermodel role or societal beauty standards. I don't know if that's feminism specifically. Yeah, I'm not quite sure about that one. Is that feminism? Seems more like just a kind of a sort of a boilerplate kind of thing. I'd need something a little bit more activist-ish. No, I realize now she's being activist, but she's being activist about body weight. She didn't talk so much about femininity. You know, I don't know. I think that's a kind of a toss-up. But I'm open to arguments elsewise after the stream in the comments or over on the Discord server. Because did you know I have a Discord server? Well, I have a Discord server. Would you like to join said Discord server? Well, I'd love it if you did. And let me tell you how. As soon as I have a link for the Discord server. There's a link in the chat right now to the Discord server. If you'd like to join the Discord server, all you have to do is say the secret word. The secret word will tell me that you actually watched the stream, are not a bot, and if that's earned the right, the privilege, the entitlement to join the Discord server. And today's secret word is existence. There you go. Just say hello, existence, because that was a big theme in this deal, and I'll know that you watched the show. Beyond that, you can find me probably tomorrow morning, unless work. I mean, tomorrow is billing day, or end of the month. Actually, billing day is Saturday morning, but end of the month is tomorrow. So I might be busy, but hoping, fingers crossed, knock for Micah, that I'll be on the Midnight's Edge in the Morning show tomorrow at 9:05 a.m. Pacific time, noon 05 p.m. Eastern time. And I intend, again, granted things work out, I intend to have another episode of DEI Death Watch tomorrow, probably around 11:30 a.m. Pacific time, 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. I will try to stick to that schedule, but it does fall on the last day of the month, so I'll let you guys know on Twitter or elsewise. Also, you can follow me on Twitter if you'd like to. My Twitter handle, if you don't already know, is right there on the screen at the bottom left, scribe_like capital S, capital L. And you can also follow me on Blue Sky if you really want to. Yay! I posted a couple times on Blue Sky today, mostly advertising my friend's true crime stuff. I also offered Joy Reid a job on my channel. I hear she's free now. So, you know, having a co-host of differing opinions would probably be interesting. Anyway. Oh, wait a second. Advocate is in at the last second. Patriarchy since men came up with the old standards. Oh, the beauty standards. Oh, man. Wait, no, hold on. Women also set the standards of how women are. No, it's not a patriarchal thing inherently. No, women are just as much of a force in setting beauty standards as men. Look at the modeling magazines. Look at her entire career. It's not just patriarchy. Yeah, no, you almost got me there. Ask me any birthday song for me, please. Oh, you got me right the last second. Good timing. Ask me any. I'm told by you that it's your birthday. And so this one is for you. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ashley Auntie. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Aspie Auntie. Doing a little Slim Whitman impersonation there at the end. Would be appreciated. Yeah, so if you have arguments for squares to be circled after the show is over with, you can always leave them in the comments below or over on the Discord server in the TEDx section. I know there'll be controversy. Last couple of weeks I've had lots of controversy. I like controversy when it comes to arguing over squares and all that good stuff. The best part of the show is the argumentation and analysis of the talk. What we learned, what we saw, what we heard, what we didn't hear, and so on and so forth. But elsewise, everybody, you can find me here for sure Sunday, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern for the Sunday stream, where I'll talk about other interesting news of the week outside of the other news that I've already covered and will cover in DEI Death Watch tomorrow, hopefully. But otherwise, be sure, guys, on your way out, if you haven't already, please like the show, subscribe if you haven't already, share my stuff out if you think other people might enjoy it. And yeah, if you're curious about Supreme Court oral arguments concerning cases that may or may not affect DEI lawsuits in the future, check out the ambush stream from earlier today. And otherwise, everyone, moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone here is so well behaved. You have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated either to myself or to the LA Wildfires charity at the top of the chat box, thank you guys so much for your generosity. Very much appreciate it. Everybody, hope you have a good rest of your Thursday and Friday ahead of you. Those of you that have to deal with month-end billing and stuff, you have my sympathies. I hope it all goes smoothly this month. Hope you all have a good rest of your week and weekend. I hope you're all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon. and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.